They say life can change in a single moment, but no one truly understands what that means until it happens to them. In a small village where everyone knew each other's footsteps, lived a man whose strength defined him. He was known for his work, his laughter, and the confidence in his walk. People respected him, not because he was rich, but because he stood firm in who he was. Then one night, everything collapsed. An accident. A scream. Darkness. When he opened his eyes, light was gone forever. The world he once ruled with confidence now felt like a cage of shadows. At first, people pretended to care. They spoke soft words and promised support. But sympathy is often temporary, and patience runs out quickly when suffering lasts too long. Days passed. Weeks turned into months. The same hands that once built a future now searched blindly for direction. Hunger became familiar. Silence became loud. And the woman who once swore forever slowly turned cold. She did not leave in anger. She left in disappointment. That hurt more than the blindness itself. Left alone, the man learned something painful but powerful. When the world takes everything from you, you discover what truly lives inside you. He refused to beg. He refused to disappear. Every morning, he sat outside his hut and worked with what he had left, his hands, his memory, his will. People laughed. Children mocked. Men shook their heads, but he stayed. Because real strength is not proven when life is easy. It is proven when everything is gone, and you still choose to wake up. And just when the world thought his story had ended, kindness walked in quietly, without noise, without judgment, ready to change everything. Not all heroes arrive loudly. Some arrive carrying silence. She noticed him when others looked away. A blind man sitting alone, shaping clay under the sun, singing softly to himself as if music could replace vision. Most villagers passed him like he didn't exist. Some laughed. Others felt uncomfortable. But she stopped. She did not ask questions. She did not offer pity. She simply greeted him like a human being. That moment was small, but it mattered. She returned the next day, and the next. Sometimes with food, sometimes with conversation, sometimes with nothing but her presence. Slowly, the blind man realized something strange. He felt seen without being looked at. The village did not understand. They whispered cruel things. They accused her of wasting her life. They mocked the man for daring to smile again. But she stood firm, because she knew something they didn't. Broken does not mean finished. When people laughed, she defended him. When he doubted himself, she reminded him of who he was. When hope felt dangerous, she protected it. Love did not rush. It did not demand. It did not perform for the village. It grew quietly, patiently, like a seed under hard soil. And as time passed, something changed. Work returned. Respect followed. The same hands once dismissed began to create value again. Not because the world suddenly became kind, but because someone believed before results appeared. That belief became the turning point. Mockery is
Keep up,
easy when you
children.
are not the one bleeding inside.
Good,
Every
follow
day,
my cane.
the blind man walked the dusty village path with his stick tapping the ground. Children pointed. Men laughed. Women whispered. It became entertainment, watching a man struggle. But what they didn't know was this. Pain listens. Time remembers. The man never responded with anger. He didn't curse them or fight back. He focused on surviving one day at a time. Shaping clay. Selling little. Eating less. Enduring more. Then one day, something unexpected happened. Someone stood up. A woman faced the crowd and asked a simple question. What kind of people laugh at suffering? Her voice shook, not with fear, but with truth. Silence followed. From that day, the laughter grew quieter. Soon, opportunity arrived from an unexpected place. Someone noticed the quality of his work. Orders increased. Coins turned into stability. Stability turned into growth. And one morning, light returned, not fully, but enough. Enough to see faces again. Enough to see loyalty. Enough to see who stayed and who ran. When success came, it did not shout. It simply arrived and took its place. And when the woman who left returned with regret in her eyes, she found a man no longer waiting for her. Forgiveness was given. Access was not. Because healing does not mean reopening old wounds. It means choosing peace. Darkness has a way of teaching lessons that light cannot. When the man lost his sight, it felt as if the world had vanished into emptiness. Every morning the sun rose, but he could not see it. Every sound, every laughter, every footstep seemed distant, blurred, impossible to grasp. He thought he had lost everything: his work, his pride, his home, and most painfully, the love he once counted on. At first, anger rose inside him. He cursed the accident. He cursed the world. But soon, he realized that anger did not restore sight, did not fill the stomach of his children, and did not return the love that had walked away. The world had changed. And if he wanted to survive, he would have to change too. So he learned patience. He learned to rely on his hands, his ears, his instincts. Every day, he shaped clay, molded wood, and carved tools from memory. He fed himself with whatever he could find, and he carried on, even when hunger clawed at his chest. Each small success became a victory. Every finished clay pot or carved stool was proof that he still mattered. And then she came. Not loudly, not with grand gestures, but simply. She saw him. She offered food, comfort, and encouragement. No one else had. She did not pity him. She did not mock him. She simply believed that he could still rise, even in darkness. Through her presence, the blind man discovered a new kind of strength, a strength born not of sight, but of endurance, patience, and the quiet support of someone who refuses to abandon you. He realized that sometimes darkness does not take life away. It teaches you how to live again, how to build from nothing, and how to discover what the heart is truly capable of. And in this darkness, he began to see, not with his eyes, but with his soul. Regret has
Feel the rhythm!
I feel it!
It arrives when it can no longer change
Together
the
now!
past. She had left. She had abandoned the man she once claimed to love. The woman, once proud, now walked back into the story too late. She thought she could reclaim what she had lost. But time had already rewritten the chapters of his life. The man she left was no longer the one who waited in fear and desperation. He had endured nights that tested every ounce of his patience, days filled with mockery and loneliness, and weeks when hunger and sorrow became his closest companions. Yet he survived. Not by chance, but by determination and silent resilience. Then she came, expecting anger, expecting screams. But she found peace. A peace that did not belong to her. Forgiveness was given, yes, but it was not an invitation. It was a statement. Life had moved forward, shaped by endurance, love, and unwavering commitment from someone who stayed. The man she abandoned had found someone else. Someone who stayed when the world left, someone who brought warmth to cold mornings, food to empty hands, and laughter to heavy hearts. He was not bitter. He was not vengeful. He was simply stronger, wiser, and surrounded by love that had been proven through action. She realized too late that love is not measured by promises alone. It is measured by presence, by the courage to endure, and the will to nurture when the world offers nothing. Her regret was deep, but it could not reverse the lessons learned, the trust earned, or the joy rebuilt in his home. Some doors, once closed, remain closed. And some hearts, once healed, choose only those who prove their devotion. She had made her choice. And in that choice, he discovered freedom. True love does not demand. It does not weigh. It lifts. It restores. It shows up when the world walks away. In the village, a blind man endured the harshest trials: loss of sight, hunger, mockery, and abandonment. People whispered behind his back. Children laughed. Neighbors shook their heads. And yet he refused to give up. He used his hands, his heart, and his will to survive. Then she arrived. Not with grandeur, not with lavish words. She simply arrived with a bowl of food, a gentle voice, and a willingness to stay. Every day, she returned. She did not force herself into his life. She simply believed in him when no one else did. Slowly, her kindness became a bridge. The man could not see her face at first, but he felt her patience, her care, her unwavering commitment. Through her actions, he learned that love is not about appearance, wealth, or fleeting gestures. Love is measured by endurance, by staying when leaving seems easier, by giving without expecting. Together, they rebuilt his life from the ground up. Clay became tools. Tools became furniture. Furniture became income. Income became stability. And with every small step, they discovered something extraordinary. Love can heal wounds that no medicine can reach. The village began to notice. Respect replaced mockery. Silence replaced laughter. But for the man and the woman, it was never about recognition. It was about trust, loyalty, and a quiet understanding that life can be rebuilt, even when broken. Love that builds does not vanish in hardship. It stands. It grows. It transforms despair into hope and loneliness into companionship. In the small village, in the home rebuilt with sweat and patience, they discovered a truth older than time. The strongest love is the one that chooses to stay. And so, even in the shadows of past suffering, life shined brighter than ever before. Because love that builds does not abandon, it elevates. It teaches, heals, and restores. And in that restoration, they found not just survival, but joy, peace, and a home that no darkness could ever touch. The village had once laughed at him. They pointed fingers, whispered cruel jokes, and treated him as if he were invisible. A man who stumbled through dusty paths, carrying what little he could salvage from life, had become a spectacle, a source of amusement. Children mimicked his movements. Adults shook their heads and whispered, "This is what pride brings." But life has a way of turning mockery into respect, often when you least expect it. He did not retaliate. He did not cry for revenge. Instead, he worked silently, shaping clay and carving wood, rebuilding his dignity with his own hands. Each stool, each chair, each careful carve became a testament to endurance. Every day, he rose before dawn and did what others said was impossible, surviving with integrity. Then she came. Not to pity, not to entertain, but to stand with him. Her presence was quiet but powerful. She defended him when laughter turned cruel, encouraged him when despair tempted surrender, and reminded him that real strength is measured by perseverance, not appearance. Slowly, the village began to notice. Respect replaced whispers. Heads turned in admiration instead of scorn. The same men who mocked him once now nodded silently, acknowledging a man who had endured what they could not imagine. When opportunity arrived, it was not just for wealth, it was for recognition of his skill, his patience, his unwavering spirit. And the man, who had been the village's joke, became its pride. Some people may laugh at suffering, but time is patient. And often, it rewards those who endure, transforming mockery into respect, and sorrow into a legacy that no one can diminish. Every scar tells a story. Every struggle, every tear, every sleepless night marks the path of a journey few understand. He had lost everything: his sight, his work, his wife, his pride. Hunger and mockery became daily companions. But in that pain, he discovered a strange truth: it was not destruction, it was preparation. Each day of suffering honed his spirit. Each moment of hunger sharpened his focus. Each whisper of ridicule strengthened his will. Pain was no longer something to fear, it was a teacher, guiding him along a road few dared to walk. And then, kindness arrived. A woman who saw him not as broken, but as human. She fed him, supported him, and walked beside him without judgment. She reminded him that life is not about avoiding pain, it is about enduring it and rising above. With her help, he began to rebuild. Clay became furniture. Furniture became income. Income became stability. And in this transformation, he discovered the power of perseverance, love, and unwavering belief in oneself. Pain had been his road, but it led him to a life richer than he could have imagined. What once threatened to destroy him now formed the foundation of his strength. And in this journey, he learned that suffering is never wasted when it teaches patience, resilience, and courage. Some
What a
people enter your
beautiful
life to
sunset.
test you.
It is. I'm
Some
so
come
happy
and go
to be
like the
here with
wind,
you.
Me
leaving
too.
lessons behind. And then there are those rare souls who stay. They stay when the nights are cold, when hope is thin, when the world walks away. He had lost everything, yet she remained. She did not arrive with grand promises or loud declarations. She arrived with quiet presence, patience, and unwavering belief. She became the reason he could endure, the reason he could rebuild, the reason he could hope. Through her actions, he learned that true love does not demand. It does not rely on appearances or wealth. It simply chooses to stay, to give, to support when the world has turned its back. With her by his side, every obstacle became surmountable. Hunger could be endured. Mockery could be ignored. Even the deepest grief softened under the light of her loyalty. They rebuilt together, slowly, deliberately. A home from nothing. Joy from despair. Laughter from silence. And in that space, he found something priceless: trust, love, and peace. Years later, when the world saw them thriving, some could not believe how far they had come. But he knew. He knew the truth. It was not talent alone, not luck, not circumstance. It was someone who chose to stay when leaving would have been easier. Some doors remain closed to those who abandon. Some hearts open only for those who prove their devotion. And in that devotion, life blossoms, wounds heal, and broken souls find a home. True love is not loud. It does not boast. It endures. And sometimes it arrives when you least expect it, but when it does, it transforms everything. Because those who stay, even when life is hardest, carry the power to rebuild not just lives, but hope, faith, and the very meaning of love itself.